In 2008, Derby County earned the lowest points total in Premier League history. Let's go back and see if it's possible to avoid relegation with them on that year's edition of Football Manager. And we're back over 15 years ago. This is objectively a terrible Premier League squad. Derby have spent what money they can bringing in the likes of Robbie Earnshaw, Kenny Miller and Claude Davis. But elsewhere, a lot of these guys are simply championship players. With that roster, they totaled just 11 points over the entire season, winning only once in 38 matches. Some of their other unwanted records include most defeats in a season, fewest goals scored, most goals conceded. This is going to be a tough challenge. However, I do have around £2 million to spend, plus any revenue which can be generated by selling players. In reality, Derby spent their entire remaining transfer budget on Robbie Savage. I'm not going to make the same mistake. And with the season rapidly approaching, these are the moves we've made. Babayaro, Mendieta and Chiesa should provide invaluable experience. Joe Hart should also be an improvement in goal. Our two most expensive signings, though, are Pablo Piatti, an 18-year-old Argentine who enjoyed a decent career lining up for Valencia, Almeria and Espanyol in La Liga. Also, the experienced Croatian Igor Tudor. The big defender played a decent role at Juventus over the last few years, and is going to be a nice upgrade for us. Let's play through the season and see what happens. It would take 4 games for our new Argentine to make an impact. Piatti gets on the end of a nice pass and fires it into the top corner. 2-0, Derby's first win of the season. And with 5 games played, things are looking pretty good. We're sitting in 16th. But the storm clouds would begin to gather. Over the next 12 games, we would fail to win, picking up just 2 points in the process. It was quickly becoming apparent that my transfer business may have been more inept than spending everything on Robbie Savage. The defence was faltering badly. And Robbie Earnshaw up front wasn't doing much better. So far he's been given the vast majority of the minutes in our 3-5-1-1 formation, but with just 1 goal to show for it in the league, we're going to give Kenny Miller a chance. But that didn't make much of an improvement. Inside 37 minutes, we find ourselves 5-0 down against Chelsea. They'd add another in the second half. But a week later, there was a redemption of sorts. Piatti once again showed his quality, breaking forward before an elite finish. United struck back, but at the beginning of the second half, an excellent intervention by Babayaro, who finds the Scottish forward. By far the best result of the season so far. The table was beginning to look a little bit grim though. As we move past the halfway stage of the campaign, we've earned just 2 victories. The only positive being, we've accumulated more points than Derby did in 2008, but that bar wasn't very high. We're 9 points from safety, with a tricky schedule remaining. As the lowest scorers in the division so far, goals are a problem. We had around £1 million left to spend from the summer, and when Christian Vieri became available, there was no question on where our budget surplus was going. Over the last 2.5 years, he hasn't really played football that much, but given that Kenny Miller and Earnshaw have combined for 2 goals this season, it's a risk we need to take. And he made a solid impact, winning the knockdown to his teammate, who finds Piatti for the finish. His first goal would arrive in March. The ball breaks down the left, before the Italian shows a deft touch to beat Daniel Agger, and then the keeper. Later in the same match, he'd make the most of a Jamie Carragher error, as his teammate squares the ball for a simple finish. He was the man of the hour, as Derby registered an improbable victory. That was followed by another terrible run of 7 straight defeats. On the final match day, it was Aston Villa, who were fighting relegation themselves. The Italian this time would provide an assist, as he hits a perfect through ball to Pablo, who converts. Here are the full squad stats from the year. I think we massively struggled in the centre of defence. My signings of Greg Berhalter and Igor Tudor both underachieved. With the Croatian, he did a lot better deployed as a DM, but I didn't make that tactical change until too late in the season. Likewise, Earnshaw and Kenny Miller were a disaster. Maybe if we'd had Vieri from the outset, things could have been different. Over the course of the season, our top goal scorers each bagged 7. The Italian legend had a big impact too, providing 9 goal contributions in 16 matches. Without a doubt, our player of the season has to be David Jones. He was ever present in the midfield, not only finishing as joint top scorer, but also our top assister. Not even his great form could save us though. We would finish cemented to the bottom of the Premier League table. In comparison with Derby's doomed season, we did register 12 more points, score 13 more goals, and concede 19 less. I do take some solace in improving our points total, but still, we were nowhere near survival. Derby County's 2008 season was a Premier League disaster. Even now, more than 15 years later, it's still referenced as what not to do when you reach the top flight. With them now back in the Championship, maybe next year they can earn a return and restore their reputation amongst England's elite.